What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back. I'm about to set this thing off right. I'm typing. Shout out to Malette. Glad you joined super early. Shout out to D. What's up, Katie King? How you doing? Um, Katie King, where are you located? Are you in DC? Dendrick, what's going on? That's right. You see the hat. You see the hat. More time. What's going on? Omarosa, what's going on? Oh, I always do Omarosa because I be seeing and I be like, Omarosa. Be so loud and so wrong. Komai, what's going on? Operation Tat Takeover. Dendrick, what's going on? Oh, okay. I should be your way pretty soon. If you're in, I know you're in Slack. Hit me up. Try to meet up with you. What's up, Bless Aries? That's right. Atlanta in this thing. Yang yang in this thing. Yin yang. Yin yang. Let me get my Atlanta. My Atlanta. What up, folks? What up, folks? Hey, shot it. Hey, shot the flaw. Shot the flaw over there. Aha. Yeah, you see, shot the flaw. What up? See, shot don't even know about that. Don't even know. I was just there for 2 weeks. I was just in Atlanta for 2 weeks. Sure was. I don't want to say what's up, twin. You ain't my twin. What's up, twin? I'm sticking old school ATL, old Atlanta. Old Atlanta. What up, folk? What up, Shawty shit? Shawty flaw. What's up, twin? Nah, Trust me, I the song was okay with me, but I wasn't the one like nobody loves you like I wasn't doing that. Every time I close my eye. No, I didn't do all of that. No. Twin, where have you been? No. Sorry. That wasn't me. So I want to also give a shout out to uh is this Latasha? No, it's Tameika. Tameika Scott from Escape. I'm gonna blow this up in my shout out. Congratulations to her. And then we're gonna get into some petty tea this morning. Let me hit this right here. Let me know if y'all can hear that. Hold on, let me pause it right there. Can y'all hear that? All right. Shout out to her. I let the video do its thing.
Go ahead. Congratulations.
I tell everybody this is a landmark moment. Yes. This is a huge benchmark. Yes, it is. For Tameika. This is Tameika Scott. Y'all know her. She's been singing to us for decades. You want to tell her what you got? You tell them. So he's like, okay, this beautiful lady just secured more than 100 acres for her family. We started talking about legacy land, yes, right? And remember I told you land is where it's at right now? Yes. And she secured legacy land for her. So we're naming it Legacy Estate. Woo!
So she purchased over 100 acres for her family. I'm gonna say it this way because I said this probably more than 7 years ago. I was in I was in Blacks and Technology Slack group, and in Blacks and Technology Slack group, I was like, you guys should start buying up the land. And people were like, well, if I buy the land, what do I have to do with it? I said, do what everybody else does, sit on it. And everybody was like, no, that's not even income producing land. You gotta have a plan with the land, this, that, and other. So I phrased it like, what about all the people that come into your neighborhood and buy up the houses and don't do nothing with them? Leave them abandoned. They don't ever come back to them. They just sit on them until somebody else buys them out until they make some money off of them. So again, when people start talking about assets and appreciating assets, like they always say, they're not gonna make any more land unless they're gonna go out into the ocean and dig up and put out some land that way, something like that. But in the United States, we're not gonna make any more land. So the quicker you can grab you a piece that do that, do that, sit on it, do it. If you can find you something that's in something you can go check on a lot or an acre or 2 acres or 3 acres, even if somebody passes in your family and it's just a piece of land and it may be $40,000 for it and it may have a dilapidated house on it, buy it, sit on it, take care of it, put it in a trust, hand it down. You never know when somebody may come back for that particular area, or when the city has a plan or what have you. You never know. You can sell the timber on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people do it all the time. Timber, pecans, growing different things on it. So it's always something that you can do on a piece of land, right? Especially if you know the area in which you're in and what can grow on it, right? 35 watching on the four lights. Yep, smash the like button. You know how it go. People, people be anemic with my information, but I got a trick for that. 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 Storage units, yes, you can even turn it into a truck driving spot where truck drivers can show up on it and actually park their trucks or something like that. There's so many different things you can do with land. So many different things, right? We just be over here worried about, if I go out and get this big 600,000, $700,000 house that's sitting on point 0.1 acre versus this $600,000 or $700,000 house that's sitting on 5 acres. Right? Always, always, always got something up my sleeve. Always thinking about what could be. Which brings me to another point that I wanted to address. And let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Then we're gonna talk about it this morning. We're gonna have some words this morning. It's gonna what I'm about to say gonna piss some people off, and I'm okay with that. I usually piss people off, and I'm okay with that. All right.
You
So
always know just the threat.
so we're gonna talk about it. So it's Black Women Are the name of the show is Black Women Are Studied at Work. I just generally have a different take on this. Black men and black women are studied at work. Black people are studied at work. And I've always told you guys go in and be trained assassins and be killers. Um, so this conversation is kind of like a touchy subject to me because it it shines the light on to me. This is my own take to me on cowering down in the workplace just so you can stay in the workplace. And I don't take that approach. Either you like me or you don't. That's just, I've always been that way. I also have been the person that has always been like, you don't like me, you get rid of me, I go find another job. That's has always been my thought process. Um, and a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people think that um you shouldn't drive. I'm never gonna forget this. Somebody said this to me when I moved to the Florida, and it was a white man that said it to me. He's like, "You drive a better car than the owner of the company." He's like, "How do you think that looks?" And I said, "It just looks like I went and got a car that I liked versus I drive a better car than the owner of the company." I said, why would she care about what I'm driving? One. And then two, why do we care about what she thinks that I'm driving? I've also heard this said before, don't drive your fancy car to work, drive your other car to work because you don't want people talking and clocking what you have. And I'm thinking to myself, like, clock it. Clock it. who I just don't care. Like, I just never been the person that cared about what people thought I had or where I lived or what vacation I went on or how I got there, this, that, and listen, if you think that me driving a fancier car than you and making more money than you, that you gotta go snitch on me, then snitch on me. But when you tell it, you know, cool. Tell the whole truth and make sure you got receipts. That's how I look at it. Make sure you got receipts. What you gonna do? Tell them Tamika went to work today and she came in at 10 and she left at 3. And what did she do from that time? She said she was working and she said she was doing this. Oh, we're not gonna give her a promotion for that. We're not gonna give her a promotion. Okay, don't give me a promotion. I, I don't care. That just means I need to go somewhere else. That's just how I look at it. And I don't know. This may be arrogant, but it also comes from having confidence and having confidence in yourself and your abilities and understanding the market. If you understand the market, you know you can go somewhere else and you know you can go make the same amount or not more, if not more, then you gonna do that. You just gonna do it. I had one guy tell me, he was like, "You're starting to come in and work at 11 o'clock, and so if, you better if you keep it up, you're gonna end up finding yourself fired and back on the unemployment line." And I was like, "Well, I didn't ask to be here. You guys looked for me, so you couldn't find nobody to do the work. So that means I can go somewhere else, right?" So this is like one of them things that I am of the mindset of, and this is just, again, I'm speaking for myself, right? I'm of the mindset of I can go where I want to go. And I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me, but we about to get this job done. Now, if you can't focus on getting this job done because you worried about what I drive, or you worried about the vacation that I went on, or you worried about the watch that I wear, or the clothes that I got on, then I don't know what else to tell you. That's your problem. That's not my problem. But I'm not gonna stop doing what I do and stop wearing what I wear because of X, Y, and Z. And I just don't subscribe to that. And I never have and never will. Like, people like, oh, don't invite your coworkers over to your house. Well, that's funny people say that, right? Don't invite your coworkers over to your house. I know a lot of people, including my mother included, that have been friends with people, these coworkers, for 20, 30 years. And they come over to her house and she go out to dinner with them because they are her friends. Some people you work with actually become your damn friends. They actually become your friends. You actually kind of like the person. You actually want to hang out with them in real life. Like, I don't know where people are at in life. Like, I don't think people are out here making like a ton of friends. And I don't think a lot of people out here even have a lot of friends. And truth be told, let's be clear. Some of you are just not nice people and shouldn't be friends with nobody. You need Jesus. Like, some of you are not even worthy enough. We're gonna keep it 1,000 to even be friends with, because you don't even know how to be nice. You're not even a nice person. You're not even nice to be around. Your energy and your spirit gives off fuck shit. Let's just be 1,000, right? Just keep it 1,000. So when I hear people say that, like, oh, you can't do this and you can't let them do this, I be like, well, why can't you? Why can't you? Why do I have to keep bottle up about my excitement? Nobody loves me. Like, what is this? Why are we at this point? Why are we at this juncture? How do we get here? These are the questions that I have. I don't know how y'all feel about the workplace stuff, but that's how I feel about it. I really don't give a damn. People ask me questions all the time. Oh, so your mom passed away? Yep, my mom passed away. Yes. I said, well, and what questions do you have? Oh, well, I was I was just, are you wondering what? What are you wondering? Yes, she left me this. Yes, she left me that. Yes, she left me this. Yes, I already had this. Yes, I have that. Yes. What else would you like to know? Oh, what? Oh, why? I was like, because it doesn't make any difference. At the end of the day, you ain't got to pay the car note. You ain't got to pay the mortgage. You ain't got to change the tires. You ain't got to pay for the oil change. It don't matter. You just want to know because you're nosy. Okay, let me help you with your nosiness. Let me go ahead and help you clock it, as they say, clock the T. Let you go ahead and count it up, add it up. Go ahead, add it up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got the numbers now? Okay. So have you did X, Y, and Z today? No, you have not. Oh, okay. Well, you need to do that. Stop worrying about me. MB study said I'm getting my master's and people are telling me don't let my job know because they will sabotage me. I hate that. I hate that. I hate people that telling you that. Why can't you let people know you getting a master's? When are you supposed to be celebrated? When are you supposed to be celebrated? When do you celebrate? What your job should know that you're getting your master's. So what? My job knew I was getting my master's because they were paying for it. My job knew I was getting my master's because I was paying for it. Yeah, I hear you what your daddy is saying, but I just don't really care. I don't. I don't really. I just really don't care. That's just how I feel. All right, let's get into this video. It's about 5 minutes long, so we could do this video. Let's go.
About how you're treated, and that was something, at the office, it's this whole thing of, we had this one job that I had worked at. We had what they call casual Fridays, and it was a government job, and we had a new leadership had stepped in, and this person wanted Monday through.
Let's pause right there. First, she said it's a government job. So let's be real. Most people who have these government jobs probably have been in these jobs 10 years plus. We can agree to that, right? And so a lot of those people are set in their ways, or and let me say it this way, there's a level of expectation that they think you're supposed to have, and a certain expectation of what you're supposed to be. And the problem that I have with that expectation is that's what you think of yourself. That's not who I am. That's what you think of yourself. That's where you're at. That's not who I am. So don't be mad at me because I don't fall into this box. And a lot of people try to put people in boxes. Sometimes people put themselves in boxes as well, too. Let's be clear. But when the minute you start trying to put me in a box, just know I'm gonna kick the bottom out. I'm gonna go over here and do something else. The box I'm in is just know that I'm always kicking bottoms out. Just keep that in mind.
Friday professional attire, and then on Fridays you could do business casual. So that meant the men could wear slacks, button downs. Ladies had to wear like a dress of some sort. You could wear denim, but it had to be like a dressy dark type denim. And so, of course, when he was hired, it was during the summertime. It's hot. We had a parking lot that was, not close to the building, so it was about a 10-minute walk. And I would just wear sundresses. So I would get sundresses and like maybe put a cardigan on with it, or like a blazer, And so I would have my shoes, to walk up, because it was like you had to walk up a hill to get to the building. Right. And I would put those on and put some, dressy like sandals on for work. And so these ladies that I was working with, they would come in and just be wearing like faded jeans and t-shirts, didn't have any writing on it, but it was not even business casual. It really wasn't. But because again, it's a government job, they kind of got away with it. Yeah. And one of them, I called her like the spokesperson for the group. Anytime something, happened, or they were wondering about something I did, she would approach me. And so on this day, I'm at my desk and she comes over and she said, well, we were just wondering, like, why do you always wear?
We were just wondering. Why are you just wondering? Why?
On casual Friday, you can wear jeans. And she had on these faded jeans with a t-shirt, no writing on it. And she had on what I called the summer camp flip-flops, just the basic ones. Like she seriously had a pair of those on. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you could tell she was just bothered. It's kind of like you invite somebody somewhere and say, you can dress casual, but their casual might not be yours. And then you come in looking a little.
And see, for me, that wouldn't even bother me. I would have been like, girl, the reason why I wear this is because I bought it. And this is what I felt like wearing. It wasn't getting under my skin. You choose to wear what you wear. That makes you in your happy place. I choose to wear what I wear. That makes me in my happy place. This is just something I want to do. You want me? Let me show you where I got these dresses from. You may want to get some yourself, girl. That's me. That's me all day. Let me send you the website. What's your email address? Want me to send it to you in a text? That's me. And we're gonna keep this conversation moving. That don't bother me.
Underdressed, and
Right.
and you start making these little barbs, and that was the kind of stuff that they did, and I could tell it bothered them. But the next Friday going forward, they're all wearing sundresses now. And they're trying to wear their little strappy sandals that look, a little bit nicer, like it was just the whole thing, which I just thought was so funny. And they just kept doing that. But
because you set the tone. You set the tone. They looking because you set the tone. They looking and watching because you set the tone. Let me step myself up. Let me do something with my hair. I watched it. I watched it at work. I watched white women do it. I come in, I'm dressed up, they dressed up. I'm at Nordstrom's, they at Nordstrom's. I'm at TJ Maxx, they at TJ Maxx. And I be like, oh, you got that from TJ Maxx, girl? Yeah, I got it from TJ Maxx, Tameika. Yeah, I got that from Nordstrom's. Did you see they had a sale? Good. Make sure you get your money back. I ain't worried about them people. Like, what am I worried about them people for? Y'all be do whatever it is you want to do. Look how you want to look. Just long as you stay in the cold and keep it pushing. Somebody come up to you like, why you do that, girl? Because it was on sale. I thought it was cute. You like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Just say you like it. That's it. Why we get so caught up on that?
They were going to criticize me, but then they started copying what I was doing after the fact, because I wasn't going to stop just because they had a problem with it or they were curious about it. So
I remember mine was my car. And everybody pretty much knew what everybody was faking, but this was a gift from my father when my mom died. He didn't know what to do. So here's a car, right? And it was a cute little convertible, but it was a conversation. I remember, it's just like, I remember the guy I was working with, he's like, and there's this agency where we had like over 500 people working there. So there's a lot of people in this place. And then we must have gone to lunch, or we must have gone out or walked out together, and he saw the car and he was just like, I knew that was your car. I knew that was your car. And it wasn't even anything. It was like a Volkswagen, you know what I mean? But he just, it's like, what is a Volkswagen? I don't know. It was always some weird stuff. There was comments about my wardrobe when I first started at the last place that I worked, because I was coming off of working. I used to work for Neiman Marcus corporate. I lived in Dallas. I worked in the marketing department. So, and I was still young enough where, your parents still like, let's go shopping, mom. And my mom had recently passed away. So I had clothes, I'm not.
It's always the clothes. It's always the shoes. It's always the hair. It's always the nails. It's always something. And if you sat around worried about what somebody thought about what you wearing, how you do your hair, that you will go insane. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. That's not my focus. So you like my car? Okay, cool. That's nice. Like people really literally be worried about what you drive when you go to work. And I'd be like, I had this car before I started working here, right? I worked other places before I started working here. This is not the only job I ever had in my entire life. You know that, right? You do know that, right? You do know I was working before I got here, right? And that's what you have to tell people. Like you do know that this ain't the only place I ever worked in my life. You do know I have family, right? You know, you know, you do realize that, right? And so sometimes you just gotta put people like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
all that stuff now, but yeah, it
Mhm.
was definitely a conversation about what I was wearing. It was always a conversation about what I was wearing, what I drove.
Mhm.
At all.
I'm just so petty because I'll be twirling like Beyonce through there. You see it? You see me? You see it? You see it? I found this nice little brooch. What do you think about it? You like it? Huh? You see it? What you think? What you think? Oh, I just bought me some crystals. Girl, I just bought me some new china. I'm gonna have a little shingadig. Yeah. Gonna have a little something, something. A little shikucha boy. Worry about the people. You'll go get gray hairs.
My jobs, actually.
I've always thought that was interesting because with things that I've been talking about, there were so many comments about vehicle. Don't let people know you get a new car at work.
Yeah.
Don't talk about vacations. If you get engaged, things like that. But those are. It's just funny to me that that is something that really triggers some people in the workplace, but it does. And especially if it's us, you're not supposed to have something that nice.
And
Yeah. So let me go to this battle that I'm having in the comment section here. So let's go to this comment section. It's a battle. Anyway, it says, "Do not invite your coworkers or your boss to your home ever." But my boss invited me to his house. My boss invited me to her house, right? my the, my boss has invited me to hang out with her and her friends, doctors, lawyers, what have you, right? My coworker just invited me to go to Jamaica to fly on his plane. My coworker just came over to help me cut my grass. My coworker just came over to help me look to to look at the house. My coworker going with me to do X, Y, Z. So when do we start trusting people? I'm just curious. I was like, I have coworkers over, but I don't care what they said do. But that's just me. Is what I said. And they was like, be careful with that. People will throw salt in your game if you appear to be doing better than them. So let them throw it. I don't care about that. That just means it ain't for me. If you can convince the manager, if you can convince someone else that it ain't that's what it is, then so be it. Then so be it. Then so be it. I literally asked this. I'm just curious. What do you think they can do? Stop your raise, fire you, stop your promotion? Like, what is the harm you're looking at? Because I don't care about none of those things. I don't. I don't care about none of those things. I don't care about none of that. The person said, but think about it this way. Do you think it's gonna sit well with Jane on your job, who might not even be overtly racist, but doesn't have black people in her personal friend group? When she realizes that you live a softer life than she does. Whoa, I don't give a damn. You might make similar money, but how do you think she'll react to seeing that you're able to allocate money to cars and trips while she's paying for daycare and her husband's student loans? All it takes is one Jane. I used to think like you do before I got to the level I'm at now. What level is that? That's Jane's problem, right? But I've seen firsthand how business that how some business that gets done behind closed doors can derail a person's trajectory. Your trajectory was going to be derailed whether you drove something or not. That's what people don't realize. It ain't about what you driving. Some people are just evil and just don't like you. It don't matter. It says, I too drive my sports cars and go on vacation. I just don't discuss those things with my colleagues, and I don't invite them to my home. And this is what I gather about a lot of these conversations. And this is just Tameika's personal thought. Just Tamika personal thought. I expect people to be who they are. I expect people to be jealous. I expect people not to want to see you climb. I expect people to be in total in awe of you, whatever that looks like. I expect that. What I don't expect is I'm going to stop my shine because you feel some type of way. I'm not going to stop buying. I'm not going to stop buying houses. I'm not going to stop buying cars. I'm not going to stop going on vacations. I even talk to you about it. And you know what? Let me show you these pictures. Yeah, I fruitless crashed to Japan. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had this lovely, lovely spot in Japan that I just really love. Blah 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 blah. Can't wait to go back next year. We've already got our trip booked. I just don't care. So, moral of the story is, I hope you guys live in not your truth, but live in in your accomplishments. Live and enjoy your life. Don't dim your light because someone said that you had to dim your light because your coworker might be jealous of you. Pop off on that bitch. Show up. Drive your fancy car. Get your fancy watch. Buy your fancy shoes. Do what it is that you want to do. But don't let because somebody's perception of you might stop your forward progress. If if your manager says to you like, "Oh, you drive that fancy car, so I guess we paying you too much." Just know that that person probably mean that you probably won't get a good raise. So what you do? So since you watching what I'm watching, you said what I'm doing. That means I need to get me a second job and become overemployed. That's what that means. That means you're gonna stifle my growth. That's cool. Thank you for letting me know. In fact, I expect that of you. I expect that to you. I expect that of you. I expect for you to be mad. I expect for you to wonder how I do something or did something or whatever. And here's another thing that I think as we're starting to get older that people got to realize as your parents get older and people start to pass away and so forth and so on. Don't let nobody shun you because you got an inheritance or shun you because you receive some help from a family member or someone else. Don't let somebody shun you because of that. Oh, you didn't get it out the mud. Your daddy gave you $200,000 and did. And did. So your daddy ain't got $200,000 to give you? I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. And did. And did. And we'll do more. And we'll do more. Clock that. I'm just simply saying the time to cower down, them days is over with. I ain't never been the one. I ain't never been the one to be like, drive what you want to drive. Do what you want to do. Wear the earrings you want to wear. Wear your hair how you want to. Do what you want. If not, you're gonna be sitting on the sidelines always like, can't wear that to work. Cause if I wear it, boss is gonna be mad. The co-workers is gonna be mad if I goes to work in my Gucci shoes. Oh, can't wear them. Cause if I go, Lord knows I worked so hard to get these, but if I wears them, they's gonna see that I got a little pocket money. Oh, snap, I can't do it. Oh, don't you wear that to work. Don't you do it. That's what it be sounding like to me. I be waiting for him to come out. Way in the water. I just be waiting for the old Negro spirituals to come out. Don't let them know. Don't let them know. Don't let them know you got some Prada glasses, even though it say Prada on the side. Don't let them know. Scratch it off. They ain't gotta know. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. All right, since we're in the petty spirit and we're in petty mode, I don't want to do that one. I'm looking for my petties. All right, let's go with this one. I think this is a good one. Petty T moment here. All right, back to Market Watch. All right, he cannot match my spending. I'm 65 and I have 7 million. My boyfriend is 73. Should he release equity from his home so we can enjoy retirement? All right. Oh, let me get logged in. Should he release equity from his home so they can enjoy retirement? you like your veggies first? All right, let me blow it up here because it's kind of small. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, I'm 65-year-old gay man and my partner is 73. I am fortunate to have met someone late in life, and I'm trying to navigate this newish relationship given our two sets of friends, our two homes, and our individual histories. While we consider ourselves to be partners, we have only been together for about 2.5 years. We love one another and getting along well, but I'm concerned about how our relationship could evolve since the difference in our ages. He will slow down before I do. We live in San Diego and both are retired and reasonably wealthy. Neither of us have children. I'm healthy and previously thought I could live to my 90s. However, my siblings passed away from illness. My partner also wants to travel and do similar things, but he's concerned about having the resources to do them to the extent that I would like to. His financial circumstances present certain limitations for me. I'm concerned for him and should he spend more money. But then something happens to our relationship. Having said that, I think we'll always be friends. My net worth. I have been fortunate to accumulate sizable assets more than I've ever thought possible. I worked hard, saved, invested, and lived within my means. My decisions balanced out the poor ones. Although luck and market trends also contribute to myself, I live in a triplex and which I own free and clear. My net worth is 7.3 million. I have 1.4 million in an IRA. I have 800,000 in a Roth IRA. I have 1.4 million in a taxable account and 1 million taxable managed bond and 2.7 million in real estate. Right. I have more equities and less fixed income investments than is usual for someone my age. And says I recently I've been reducing risk with more fixed income. I live in one unit and rent out the other. My income is around 150,000 a year between rental income, social security, and the interest from my investments. This year, I started to collect social security, 43,000 a year after my net a year net after my medical insurance deduction, and I choose to withdraw 45,000 in interest from my bonds and investments. My partner assets, my partner and I have discussed ways he might generate income to support higher spending. His net assets are 2.4 million. He consisting of 2.2 million in a primary house with a in-law apartment, and it has a mortgage of 300,000. He has 20,000 stash in cash, 100,000 in a Roth IRA, and another rental property. He has both another taxable account of around 100,000. His rental generates 300,000 after taxes. He receives about 2,600 a month in Social Security and 4,000 in rent from the in-law suite. He covers his expenses with that income plus the rent out of the out-of-state rental property. He lives comfortably but cannot match my spending. He has limited liquidity as most of his wealth is in his primary home. I grapple with the uncertainty over time we have had and may have together, and with the desire to have a financial plan and do things now. While I don't mind spending more on our activities, I also realize he has ample net worth and could spend more himself. In other words, he's tired of spending. All right. Releasing equity. He said, we are trying to figure out a way for him to tap into a considerable equity in his house. I could inherit some of his assets if I paid a disproportionate share of his expenses. But what if we separate? I need to protect myself. Part of freeing up more cash will involve selling his rental property. Maybe I should deal with the financial concerns after that money runs out. The first option is to raise more money. The first option to raise more money would be for him to sell me a share in his house. I live in an area where most of my friends are nearby, and so does he. Buying a share in his house could be complicated by having to agree on a selling price. Dealing with the in-law rental income, our living apart, our relationship, and what our other beneficiaries will inherit. I would need to sell some assets to raise this capital. To do this, I suppose he could carry back a loan as part of the deal structure, and I could also assume the existing mortgage. Jointly owning a house signals greater commitment, but getting involved financially concerns me. My finances currently are fairly straightforward and liquid, except for my duplex. He said he could do a reverse mortgage and so forth. All right, so it sounds like he want his boo to come up with some money because one, he's tired of paying for everything, and he wants to do the fancy things. His boo is probably like, we don't need a boat, we can rent a boat for a couple of hours. His boo is like, we don't need to go too many places. His boo is like the little baby that came out on the AI thing. It's ghetto out here. Put me back. It's ghetto out here. Let me find that baby at. It's ghetto out here. Let me see. Let me see. See if I can find that baby. My hair. What you say? My bonnet twisted. We'll go to videos. D, if you got it, can you send it to me? I know y'all seen that AI baby. Oh, and congratulations to King Shaba. I see you passed the RCSA. You know what to do. You know what is going on. You know what your next step is. I don't see it. I see the other one. I don't see the one with the little AI baby with the put me back baby. That's what I call it, the put me back baby. Let me see. No, I don't see it. Or then when you get it, we'll do it. I'll post it up there. All right, so let's see what the money is say. All right, you want him to live the lifestyle to which you have become accustomed to. Exactly. You can't make him do your lifestyle. You're buying a share of his house would be a cleaner way of releasing equity, although he would be giving up his most prized possession, his financial independence. You could also offer him a reverse mortgage on a private loan. Both of these options would complicate your finances and your relationship. The less messy but more expensive option for him would be to take out a reverse mortgage or HELOC through a lender. However, I recommend none of the above. All right. It says, I understand your dilemma. What is the point of having accumulated a net worth of 7.3 million if you can't enjoy it? What happens if you meet someone who doesn't have the same level of wealth and can't afford to do all the things that you would like to do together? The answer, as you see it, is for him to release equity from his home so you both can do whatever you want to do. If he agrees to that, you have a way forward. But that's where I come in to spoil your plans. I don't believe it's a good idea for you to fund a reverse mortgage or a HELOC so your partner can afford to do more activities and take trips. His home is his safe space and it represents financial independence, especially if it's paid off or close to. He also has a rental apartment which would generate 300,000 if sold. It would be folly to spend all of that on living the high life. Secondly, unless your mission is to move to Florida for the winter and join President Trump's Mar-a-Lago Country Club in Palm Beach, which has an initiation fee of 1 million, I don't see why you and your boyfriend should release equity in his $2.2 million home to fund your lifestyle. Because from your telling it it is your lifestyle, not his, and the 300,000 as play money for a 73-year-old man who has 4,000 in rental income and 2,600 in social security is a hell of a lot of money. Thirdly, your partner has 300,000 left on his mortgage. If he wishes to live comfortably and free up more money, I suggest he use some of that money from the sale of his rental home, but to fund a lavish lifestyle with his partner or 2.5 years, but rather to pay off some of that mortgage so he has more comfortable cushion between his income and expenditures. The two of you could break up. Your relationship, as you say, could evolve into friendship. He might need long-term care. Fourthly, if you decide to spend money now with the expectation that your partner would leave you X amount in his will, he could let it change his mind in the relationship and end acrimoniously, or amicably. On the other hand, loaning him money through a HELOC or reverse mortgage overcomplicates your financial lives and puts a lot of pressure on your personal life. It will also create an unhealthy power balance. Stories of wealth. Your letter arrives at an interesting time this week. I received an email from a reader complaining that how his column runs on many letters from people who appear to have more wealth than they seem to know what to do with. It's true. I receive a lot of letters for people who have a net worth of 1 million, 5 million, or more. These questions relate more to money management and distribution than to accumulation. In this part, this reflects the nature of the column and the broader readership of news organizations that follows on investing. But readers tend to be more easily irritated by people with lots of money who have problems. Perhaps understandably, they ask, "What do these people have to complain about?" They say, "If I had 7 million, I would never have to write an advice columnist." But as I pointed out to the reader who emailed me, I also answer questions from people who have very little money. The mother who lives with a daughter, or her daughter's boyfriend, the woman who wonders whether or not she should pay off her boyfriend's 67,000 student loan debt. That's another one. The couple with Alzheimer's and stage 4 kidney disease who just inherited $50,000, which is a lot of money for them, and a 70-year-old widow who has struggled financially. Your problem is one of the distribution. In the case of your partners, it's one of liquidation. And so this is my take on this. You knew what he had before y'all got into a relationship. And so you already know what kind of liquid money that was available for your lifestyle, and you know the lifestyle that you want to live. So if you want to live a certain lifestyle, you may have to fund it. Hold on, what's money to D. So again, don't be the person that gets into a relationship and you want to do all these things and the person that you're with can't do those things. You're probably gonna have to meet them where they're at, or you're gonna be the one that's paying it. But I'm not doing a reverse mortgage on my house so I can go frolic and twirl across the world with you. I ain't doing that. That's not my testimony. All right, here's another one. I thought this one was funny as well too. We're blessed. This is for the fellas. What would you do in this situation? We're blessed. My husband is inheriting $1 million home. Should he put it in my name too? Fellas, your wife is asking your mom, your dad, your family, you are inheriting $1 million home. Should you put your wife's name on it too? Should you? If the shoe was on the other foot, should the woman put the husband name on the house too? Tony G, how long we married? Doesn't matter. Y'all married. Y'all have chosen each other for the love of money. All right, we do not live in a community property state. We have one son who is now a young adult. All right, so let's go. All right, my husband is inheriting a house from elderly friends in his name only. Is worth 1 million or more. We do not live in a community property state. We have one son who is now a young adult. We will consult a lawyer about the tax protection and to have new wills made. We plan to live in the house at least for a while to avoid capital gains tax. We may sell it at some point. We have our own house, which we could sell or rent. We are blessed. What do you recommend we do? He wants to name me as the beneficiary to everything in his will, with our son as the contingency. I'll do the same for him. I don't want to have an issue if he dies before me. Should he also add me to the deed once the house is in his name? Should she be added to the deed, or should he take the house and put it in a trust and leave it to the child? And it bypasses her and go directly to the child. No, because it's an inherited asset. They don't automatically, Aaron Stephen, just because you married and say my mom or my dad left me a house or some money, they don't automatically make my husband get half of that. That's not how that works. She's asking a lot of her boyfriend to satisfy her traveling. She can travel by herself, or it was a guy, Blaze Brown. It was a guy. It was two gay men. Okay, I'm with you, AM. AM, put it in a trust. All right, let's find out what they say. The undiplomatic answer he should not put you on the deed if he is planning at some point in time, at some point in the not too far future on filing divorce papers. However, even if he is not planning to do so, there's no immediate reason to put your name on the deed. As you are no doubt aware, regardless of whether you live in a community property state or equitable distribution state, all inheritance is regarded as separate property in the US. I'm going to highlight that again so everybody knows. Your inheritance is considered separate property in the United States. Now, what happens is, if you decide that if they decide they're going to live in that house and say she funds an upgrade in that house, well, that's a different story. Now we're commingling assets. But let's continue. If your husband died without a will, intestacy laws in your state would apply. Your husband could, in order to avoid probate, put your name on a transfer of death, TOD, deed, so that the house becomes yours upon his death, assuming he predeceases you. It works in the same way as naming a beneficiary on a bank account or insurance policy. So, one number thing I want to highlight here is you guys need to go into your bank accounts and put beneficiaries on your bank accounts. Do that today. If something happens to you while you're driving or something like that, you don't want that to go to probate. So you can go into your bank accounts and put beneficiaries on your bank accounts. It's easier. They just cut you a check. They just cut the beneficiary a check. That does not have to go to probate court. All right. It also means that the house would not go through probate. The public accounting of assets and liabilities, because it would transfer to you upon his death. This is an alternative to putting you on the deed. This way, he maintains responsibility for and ownership of the property during his lifetime. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit here as well. The quitclaim deed. You could quitclaim deed, but here is an issue with that. Let's go over some hypotheticals. Say this man and this woman are together, blah, 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 blah. He has now put her name on the deed. She then, he catches her cheating or something of that nature. Anything, some act of Congress, something happens, right? And her name is now on the deed. Well, number one, to go get her off the deed through divorce takes time and paperwork. But here's another thing too. Say he dies, she immediately gets the house. If she is with someone else, the house now is her house with this new person. Same thing with the quitclaim deed. When you quitclaim it, say aunt and uncle wants to give their daughter give quitclaim deed the house to her. Well, if something happens to them, right? If something happens to one of them or whatnot, this is now the transfer of ownership of that house. So now that husband that she has or the girlfriend that she has can now get some access to that. It's a quitclaim deed. It's not an inheritance, right? Because now you transfer ownership, right? So that was two dudes, right? So again, understand quitclaim deeds, inheritance, wills, trusts, transfer on death. Understand what all those things mean. And you don't know about those things until it happens. So I'm trying to prep you before that, right? Try to prep you before that. All right, so let's continue. It says existing laws allow for single filers to exclude 250,000 in capital gains tax. For joint filers is 500. The tax rate you would pay if you owe capital gains tax will be based on your income tax bracket. However, if you sold another primary residence within 2 years prior to selling the inherited home to a primary, you generally won't be eligible for this exclusion. If you want to keep the home but don't plan to live in it right away, you may decide to turn the property into a rental. If you later decide to sell the home, you could choose to defer paying taxes by conducting a 1031 tax defer exchange. And so there was a big issue about the 1031 in this new tax bill. They were trying to cut the 1031 out at one point, but they soon realized that it will hurt them, if you understand what I mean, and not us. A 1031 exchange explains occurs when you sell an investment property and purchase another with the proceeds. If you do not wish to purchase another rental property with the proceeds, then you will be accessed for capital gains tax when you sell the rental property. A step up in basis. I covered this a while ago. Step up in basis, right? In addition to selling the property immediately or deducting expense of selling it from your capital gains, you could, as you say, move into the house with your husband for 2 years before selling it. You will likely benefit from the property step up in basis under Section 1014 of the United States Tax Code. The cost basis of the property inherited from your husband friends would likely be the fair market value at the time of the homeowner's death. Again, it is the cost basis of the property inherited from your husband's friends would likely be the fair market value at the time of the homeowner's death. Your husband does not have to be a biological descendant of the owner to receive a step up in basis, but the property in question must be included as part of your husband's friend's estate. We would need to be named in the will, a revocable trust, or a transfer on death, TOD. He could, if he choose, leave half of the 1 million home to you and the other half to your son, but it appears he is happy to leave the entire estate in your hands. The inheritance should help smooth out the path of your retirement. Right? So understand, I read these articles so you get different perspectives, because I think most of the time you have no clue what's happening. You guys buy a house, you live in it, you don't know what happens upon your death. You don't understand how life insurance works. You're not understanding, like you say, you like, yeah, I got a term life insurance policy and I got a beneficiary on it, but you're not realizing that you may cause some issues with that beneficiary, right? And it may not be an issue with the tax purposes or whatnot. It just may be an issue that that person may spend the money too quick, right? I don't know if you guys remember when I start talking about this, the spin trust, will spendthrift trust. Remember that? The spendthrift trust. A spendthrift trust is a specialized trust type of trust designed to protect a beneficiary from their own potential financial mismanagement or external threats like creditors. Right? Here's a breakdown of how it works. The grantor, the individual who creates and funds the trust; the beneficiary, the person who receives the financial benefit from the trust; an independent individual or entity responsible for managing the trust assets and making distributions to the beneficiary according to the grantor's instruction. The spendthrift clause, a crucial provision within the trust document that restricts the beneficiary access and control over the trust assets. In other words, I'm not going to let you run out of here and spend up all my hard-earned money that I don't put into this trust, and you go blow it, right? So suppose you put $50,000 in a trust, or you put 50,000 in a brokerage account, and you put the brokerage account in a trust. You don't want the person to cash it out. You might be like, look, little homie, you can get about about $2,000 a year off of this brokerage account, right? Let it do its thing. You get your 2,000 and you done, right? Again, you can make that money do what you want to do with it, right? You can say, give me 10%. You could, whatever the case may be. Remember, when you're setting these beneficiaries up, you got to remember somebody's watching. Somebody watching them. All right. All right. It's elements of experience, thrift, trust. Restricted assets. The beneficiary cannot directly access, transfer, or sell their interest in the trust, principal, or income. The trustee control. The trustee holds the authority to manage that trust and assets and determines when and how distributions are made to the beneficiary. Now, here's the other thing you guys got to do. You got to watch the watcher. Creditor protection. Because the beneficiary does not directly own or control the trust assets, those assets are generally shielded from creditors or legal judgments against the beneficiary. So if you know you getting up out of here with student loan debt and you got a term life insurance policy, you may want to make the term life insurance policy be an entity, so that way they don't come after in your death the student loans. They don't come after that money as long as it's protected in the trust. All right. Benefits of a spend thrift trust: protection against financial irresponsibility, asset protection from creditors, controlled distribution, and probate avoidance. Just because you have a will does not mean that you don't have to go to probate. You probating it up. You probating. You going to probate, right? So I'm just trying to get you all to get in the mindset of what you're doing out here as you make this money, how you decide to divide things up, and then go from there. Put a one in the chat. I don't even know, man. Y'all been quiet for a long time. I don't know if y'all with me or not. Let me go on YouTube and look. See what we got going on over here. Got 61 people watching. How many likes I got? How many likes I got? 49. We can use some more likes. We can use some more likes. All right. That was my petty tea. We've been petty for an hour. All right. So let's look at this here. So I want to talk about stock splits. And we're going to talk about this company called SMX. And I think they're due to split on Wednesday. So if you look at these right here, you see 2-1, right? These are reverse stock splits right here. These are reverse stock splits. 2-1, reverse stock splits. So let me go. Is it Thursday? Yep. So this company here, SMX, is doing a reverse stock split. So for every 7 shares you have, they'll consolidate down to 1. All right. So SMX, right? Let's go look at them. Oh, right here. For the last year. This is what they look like for the past year. And also, you'll see people do reverse stock splits because they're trying to avoid getting delisted for the S&P 500 because they have to be at least at a minimum of $1, right? They opened up at $4.88. You see this? You see they came down, right? Came down, right? It closed at $6.51 on August the 1st. I mean on August the 8th. So why am I talking about SMX? Well, there's always a method to my madness. And let's do this here. Some of you probably have never heard of SMX. But here we go. SMS, streamline financial management. What careers do they have? Let me blow that up because I don't think you see it. They have careers in the DMV, Hawaii, Southern Maryland, and U.S. SOCOM. So now let's go here and click on U.S. SOCOM. And what do they need out of for U.S. SOCOM? They need a TACLAN, mission support TACLAN engineering field service rep, journeyman level 2, U.S. SOCOM, so forth. What do they need for this person to have? Well, I can kind of tell you, but I'm going to read it so you can see for yourself. Um, 24/7, 365 technical support, TACLAN equipment, full operational system checks, full network services, SIE connectivity, on the job training, following the RMA process, configure tactical communications, including mannet radios, support attack, one tac, CivTac, ATAC, conduct equipment evaluations, gaps, so forth and so on. But what do they really need? Strong knowledge of tactical network design, Linux server administration, right? You need to have your Security Plus and DoD. So, how much is this job paying? Anywhere from 120 to 150. Right? This is what they're looking for. Heavy on the Linux. Now, if we come back over here, those that want to go work in Hawaii, you can go work in Hawaii. They got jobs here in IAEA and so forth. That's SMX. Go check them out. You wondering like where do they play at? They play in a lot of places. You just probably never heard of them. Let me see if they got benefits. Let's go look at their benefits. Okay, they just got a thing. Don't say what. Don't say if they offering. When you don't see 20 and 25%, that means they probably doing 3 to 4. They ain't said nothing about it. They're probably not offering 20% into your 401k or 25. Can a trust be taken to probate? No, I've never heard anybody say they're taking a trust to probate. Once you have a trust, that's just what it is. In general, is a technical associate like CIS or cybersecurity enough to start working? Yes. Or do you have to start with a bachelor's to be competitive? No, because it go both ways, right? You can have a bachelor's and in a field and know nothing, but you could be really sharp and not have a bachelor's and know some things and know more than the next person. Yeah, the CISSP supersedes the Security Plus. Yes. Yeah. They don't care. You still need the Security Plus. Let me be clear. However, does it supersede? Yes. But you still need to show that you got the CISSP. They probably let you in with that, just the CISSP. But they want to make sure that you got the Security Plus. Yeah, for the most part, it is a hard requirement. They'll probably have you just go take the exam and just be done. But then some people are like, oh, you got the CISSP, cool. We don't need to worry about you taking the exam. For the CYSA Plus, do you need to have the Security Plus before you take that exam, or does it matter? Is that a prereq? I don't know. I have to look that up, MB. All right. So again, those jobs are out there. Stock splits are coming up. Make sure you check in with stock splits. All right. So let's go backwards here. I was going to talk about the United States with the most U.S. billionaires and what states have them, but 117 in Florida, 136 in New York, 83 in Texas, and 199 in California. Alabama has one billionaire. Kentucky got one. West Virginia, none. Maryland has 10. New Jersey, 7. Connecticut, 17. Rhode Island, 1. Colorado has 13. New Mexico got 1. Hawaii got 3. Puerto Rico, 1. U.S. Virgin Islands, 1. So your likelihood of running into a billionaire is Florida, California, Texas, and New York. That's your likelihood of running into a billionaire. It's only 2 billionaires that live in DC. Right? All right. The U.S. Air Force wants to buy Cybertrucks for target practice because they may start showing up on the battlefield. They asked for the Set Plus because that's just the minimum. That's just the minimal thing to get in. So the Air Force wants to buy Cybertrucks. So if you ever want to know where money is going, the Air Force is going to buy Cybertrucks. So if they're going to buy Cybertrucks, what does that mean? That means they're going to have to make applications for them. That means they're going to start looking at how they can utilize them. So then the question becomes is who are they going to get to help them with that? So let's see what the article says here. The Air Force is looking to buy 2 Cybertrucks for live missile firing testing. It said that Tesla pickups were likely to start appearing on the battlefield. It added that they don't receive the normal extent of damage damage expected upon major impact. So they're working on this in White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. So somewhere in New Mexico, there's probably some company that's going out there and getting these Cybertrucks and bringing them in for them to test on them. Don't be surprised if they break those Cybertrucks apart to figure out how to put them back together with new software. Just don't be surprised. All right. Next one up. Apple pledges $100 billion to the U.S. And what does that really mean? And what does that look like? All right. Apple's going to spend $100 billion investing in the U.S. facility. That's a top of $500 billion pledge the company made earlier. It said a lot, sort of. It is a move to make iPhones in the U.S. Not at all. A White House event on Wednesday afternoon, Tim Cook announced plans to invest $100 billion in U.S. manufacturing. Sounds like chips to me. All right. And is this the real plan with real money? A bit of strange stagecraft designed to give Donald Trump a public win for his reshoring push, or a way for Apple to help on the right side of Trump's tariffs that could cause great harm to the company. Yes, and yes, and yes. It says, let me make sure it's a context. And Apple said it will invest 500 billion into and hire 20,000 U.S. employees. So Apple is hiring. Apple is now going to add another 100 billion to that commitment. Apple spelled out how it's going to spend some of the money at the White House event, including a 2.5 billion to expanding to work in a Corning plant where it makes glass for iPhones and Apple Watches. Apple says that the work will eventually ensure that all of the devices sold worldwide will use American glass. Right? It announced a plan to invest 430 billion in US over 5 years and hire 20,000 people. Some of those plans involve new construction like the engineering hub in North Carolina. Others involve expansions of existing facilities or construction that will already take place or already underway, like a $1 billion campus in Austin. Bloomberg notes Apple's announcement from February was really acceleration of its earlier plans. It meant Apple was planning to spend $39 billion in a year and to increase its hiring by 1,000 per year. So we got 20,000 that is going for Apple. You should have started seeing those already. I know I have. If you have not, you need to sign up on Dice or Indeed and set your filter. You will see that those jobs are out there for Apple. All right, Lockheed Martin ramps up missile and space system production and soaring global demand. Lockheed Martin is rapidly expanding its production capacity across defense systems in response to increased global demand. The company is investing heavily in advanced automation, resilient supply chains, and manufacturing infrastructure to boost speed, delivery, and efficiency. So that means Lockheed Martin is hiring. So I gave you 3 places to look for a job: SMX, Apple, and Lockheed Martin, all under the federal space or not in the federal space, right? Palantir, Alex Karp just delivered incredible news for Nvidia stock investors. All right, so when I saw this headline, I was like, "What's the news?" Right? It says Palantir just delivered second quarter results that far outpaced Wall Street expectations. More broadly, the results show the implementation of AI is going as the leading provider of chips for AI. Nvidia has much to gain and continue adoption. Who else should you be looking at other than Nvidia? It starts with a B. Drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it. The answer is Broadcom. All right, Nvidia is producing unprecedented wealth for its employees. Nearly 80% of already millionaires. So let me ask this. Let's go back to the first opening. If you worked at Nvidia, would you not go to work in your fancy car? Or would you just go to work in the Studebaker? Or put? Why? Most of the people that you work with are probably millionaires. Why are you dimming your light? Let's go. Nvidia continues to dominate the AI race and stock market. A new report says the wealth created inside the company has reached stunning levels. On Monday, in a post on X, formerly Twitter, financial commentary platform Kobesi letter said, "This is incredible. Roughly 50% of roughly 50% of Nvidia employees are now worth over 25 million. Roughly 80% of Nvidia employees are now millionaires." Do you think they care about what you wear to work if you're working at Nvidia? We all got fancy cars. We all gonna eat. AI revolution is producing unprecedented wealth. According to the available reports, a June survey of more than 3,000 NVIDIA employees has revealed that a staggering 76 to 78% of the respondents are now millionaires, with nearly reporting a net worth exceeding 25 million. The surge of employee wealth reflects the company's meteoric rise in market value. The internal poll conducted among roughly 10% of NVIDIA's 30,000 person workforce highlights the outsized impact of chip makers' employee stock purchase programs. The initiative allows the staff to buy company shares at 50% discount, a benefit that has paid off handsomely amid NVIDIA's explosive growth. So yes, buy the stock. Buy the stock. Are you mad that you're sitting at work and the person next to you, say you go to work and you worth 4 million, are you mad at the person next to you because they worth 25? Or you gonna try to figure out how you can get worth 25? You tell me, right? All right, Amazon is putting in 36 million bet on quantum computing. Here's what investors know. I keep hinting at y'all that quantum computing is playing in the background. They're slowly investing. The market hasn't came forward just in the hard hit yet, but it's a slow investment. You could be on the cutting edge of that, especially if you got kids in high school. They could be on the cutting edge of this. All right. Broadcom, Jericho 4, ASICs just opened up a multi-data center AI training. Forget building massive superclusters, cobble them together from existing data centers. A multi-data center, right? Broadcom. Did y'all see the announcement with Broadcom this week? Maybe it was last week. Let's see. I think they just purchased somebody. Let's see. Broadcom acquires. Let's see. No, they bought VMware for 18.9 billion. Oh yeah. This was right here. And then say when this happened. Let me look. Oh, that was later on. I mean that was earlier. All right. So here's a tracked way to see what Broadcom has been up doing. Like you guys gotta go look like and see what the other chip manufacturers are doing. So here's the list of 22. Let me see. Here's a list of won't let me do it. It's a list of all the people, all the things that Broadcom has acquired. DevOps tools to let me see. They said it had 23. Let me look at the list. The list of 40 acquisitions by Broadcom. Let's see, that's the one for them. Okay, here's another one. 69 billion. Brocade, that's old. There was another one they just did. I may be thinking about somebody else. No, let's look it up. HP, we just saw C8 Capital that they just purchased. Go back. Read the headline. Yeah, Broadcom completes acquisition of CA Capital, a common stock. CA's common stock will now cease to trade. Yeah, CA Technologies. We're going to talk about them. We already know about the merger with VMware. There was something that happened this week. I gotta look at my notes. But keep Broadcom on your list. Keep Broadcom on your list. All right, CoreWeave buys New Jersey data center for 322 million. Anybody know what CoreWeave does? If you don't know, go check them out. But they just bought a new data center. Lockheed launches the hub to prototype the Golden Dome. Remember I talked about the Golden Dome last week. Was 155 billion going in there. Apollo to acquire Stream Data Center. So terms not shared. U.S. data center Stream will be acquired by Apollo Global Management. So Apollo Global Management. Right here. Looks like they may be a private equity firm. So they just purchased that data center. Let's see where am I at. Here, Corey, Lucky, yep. They're acquiring the Stream data centers. Stream builds, leases, manages, and operates hyperscale data center campuses and has delivered more than 20 campuses today. The company claims a landmark bank totaling 4 GW of potential capacity. Stream data centers represent a landmark digital infrastructure transaction for Apollo with deep development expertise and valuable long-term land fund in key growth markets. We believe SDC is uniquely positioned to serve the infrastructure needs of the world. Again, infrastructure isn't going anywhere. All right. Stream also needs techs, correct? They are hiring. Right. That's why I'm pointing these things out. I probably pointed out at least 5 or 6 jobs today. All right. Alabama weapons manufacturer awarded $9.5 billion contract missile system. If you have been in Slack this week, you noticed that I have posted Huntsville jobs. The jobs are paying up to $200,000 and more. I posted them. They're looking for Linux admins. They're looking for system engineers. You don't think on this $9.5 billion contract, Lockheed Martin in Alabama, they looking for some folks? They are. The work will be performed in Troy and Orlando, Florida, and expected to be completed by 2033. Don't sleep on Orlando. Orlando has government contracting too. All right. Quantum Computing awarded a TFLN photonic chip contract by the U.S. Department of Commerce, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Again, we're out here awarding contracts for quantum computing. Keep your eye out on what that means. What does that mean infrastructure wise? What does that mean security wise? These are jobs and things to be looking at. Jerome M, thank you for the super chat. Great day, Will and family. We appreciate you. Oh, bless Aries. I'm glad you asked. You know, I talk about this all the time. There is an actual K through 12 program because it is indeed a national security problem. You don't have to get into quantum computing. You can understand the infrastructure that supports quantum computing. DevOps and quantum computing is a thing. You just interviewed for another position and the package is insane. Where did you interview at and what is the package? Let's discuss. Meta places orders for the next gen ASIC powered AI servers, partners with Broadcom. Is a method to my madness. I'm also saying, and this don't take this as financial advice, go buy you some Broadcom stock. Just saying. Sit on it. Sit on it. All right. Meta has ordered for its next gen. I talked about Oracle last week. Who invested in Oracle? OpenAI. Go buy you some. Sit on it. Ain't gonna hurt you. Buy $10 a week. All right. AMW said makes America scripts at work. What's your thoughts on vibe coding to create Python? I don't know anything about vibe coding, so I can't give you my opinion. I will have to look that up. Ask me next week. I got you, Jerome. But Dendrick Bennett, what's the package looking like? Got you. Cool. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go. As long as you take the bonus money and invest it. That's the only way that you're going to really see something out of that. You got to go invest that bonus money. You gotta go invest it. You know what? For you, let's talk about it. You are a good example. I'm glad you brought it up. You are a good example. Let thou do this. Let's take your example. Let's do some bolden. Let's do some trajectory here. Okay? Let's do some trajectory here. I could play around with this. This is my little play around plan. Okay. I'm gonna play around with this one with you. All right. I need my calculator. No, no spreadsheet. I want calculator.com. I hate calculator.com. Let's just do calculator. That's all I want. I like Google Calculator. All right. So we say 175. That's monthly. Let's go over here. We just put zero in here for right now. All right. Let's go over here to income. Gross, that comes out to be 14,583. I'm gonna go with 15,000 for right now. Let's get your, I don't know how old you are, but let's hit your retirement age at 65. You may come out before then. All right. They got a historical average of growth up by 2.54. That's fine. Let me see. We're not adding a contribution to that. Let's save that. All right. This is Social Security. I put you at 65, so let me come back up here and put you at 65. All right. And we'll say you're gonna max out. We'll say you max out just for right now. This is just what it's looking like right now. Just say that's what it is. Okay. And we'll go back over here to income. We got Social Security, passive annuities, and windfall. So let's go with this windfall here. So your windfall is this 12% to 14% bonus, right? So we'll just do 13 in the middle, right? So we'll do 175. I'm assuming it's a percentage of your income, which is 22.75. So we're just gonna put 22.750. I don't know your age. I'm just gonna say, I don't know. We'll do retirement age or whatever. Well, that's the thing about this. This is where I come in. This is why I have problems with this. Because it's a win. It's not a yearly, I mean, it's not a one-time windfall. It is a monthly, I mean, it's a yearly windfall. So I'm gonna go over here. So investment, savings, checkings. Let me go here. I'm just gonna put you at. I'm gonna say you've been working for some time. I'm just gonna put you in at about $70,000 right now. For retirement in your 401k, and we're gonna say yes. Save that. We're also gonna say you got some money in a, I don't know, some ordinary income, or yeah, we can. I guess we can do that. I'm trying to get a way to put your 401k money in. I mean your bonus money in there. We'll call this 22,750, and we'll say you put it into a high yield savings account, right? And let's customize that, and let's say you found one around about. Is it gonna let me do it? It's not letting me do it. So I take as close to 4 or 5% as I can get. So I'm gonna go with conservative because that's about as close as I can get. It won't let me change it. So we're gonna save that. All right. And then it asks you to come here and put in debts and all that. I'm not gonna do all that right now. Money flows. Okay, here we go. Recurrent contributions. Yes. 1 minute. Making deducted from my paycheck. 4%. Your employer does match, right? Up to let me look. I'm gonna say they probably do it up to 4%. That's what I'm going with. All right, next. And this is a 401k. Maybe a Roth 401k, or is it traditional? I want to say it's probably a Roth. Pre-tax contributions. Yeah, and then you got Roth contributions. All right. I may have to go back and update this. But this is what I would like for you guys to get hooked on. It's because, one, you get a chance to come in here. It's not going to show anything right here. Let me show you what it's, because I need a little bit more detail. But it's just showing you right now, like just with the basics of that money that you're talking about making, what it could look like, right? I didn't put in here for debt. I need to go back and do that. I need to go back and do real estate. I need to go back and do your savings and all of that stuff. But again, just looking at saying you may want to retire at 55, you may want to retire at another age. Just throwing numbers around. You want to retire, you want to take this out all the way to 92, right? It's just showing you what it could be as you continue. And you can come in here and change this plan. Let me go summary, and let's change this, and let's put this to say you're gonna retire at 65. And save that. And you say you want your longevity age to be, say, 85. Right? And when you come back over here and look at the overview of your plan, so it's saying with just what you have right now, I'm just gonna do home. I'm gonna go over here. I just had a home valued at 400,000. You got an estimate mortgage balance of 100,000. You may pay, I don't know, $3,000 monthly. on that, and then save it. You can give it a zip code or whatnot, but it's using the Monte Carlo to show you what your trajectory could be, right? And I'm just showing you what this could look like because a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, you make 175. Yes, you make 175, but taxes, 401k, HSA, all that stuff matters, and so forth. And investing matters, and where you live at matters. So that money can be eaten up, or it could go a long way. But now you got to look at again what that looks like for yourself in the long run. So again, I got right here. I'm assuming you're saying 1,400 is your mortgage. I'll go back and change that. But I'm just hypothetically putting out here what this looked like, what you look like now, and say what you look like in retirement. Let's say you hit 65 and you were retired at 65, you could be at 2.43 million or more. Or more. I'm just roughly playing with numbers. You could have almost $2 million saved up. But again, this is just talking about what it could look like. This doesn't include your investments in your brokerage account. I haven't included investments in your inheritance. I haven't included rollover 401ks, the whole nine. Once you start putting all this stuff together, you'll start to see that, dang, that ain't bad. That ain't a bad look. It's not a bad look for you to be a multimillionaire. It's not a bad look. No, I don't know why people were like, oh well, you just you really ain't doing much, blah 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 blah, or you ain't really did nothing, blah 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 blah, whatever that looks like. Whatever people say these days. But again, it shows right here that you got a low score right here, 269. And the reason why I say it's low, it says 99%, but that score could go higher. But it just says at the current rate, with just what I have in there, right, you got a 99% chance of fully funding your plan through longevity. And then it gives you this projection, and you can't see it here because I didn't pay for this part. This one, I have another account that is paid for, but I just want to show you this on what it looks like. And it says this, you'll have this net worth at 83, but you could have that net worth way beforehand, depending on what you put your investments in, real estate, or so forth and so on. Then they talk about the different metrics and everything. And I like this little plan. I mean, this little setup here, just so you could get a chance to see everything. And then you could put in all your debts. Again, like I said, I didn't put any debts in. I just kind of went with some basic stuff that I could put in versus all the other options you have for real estate. You can connect your accounts that you want back here. Um, and then you can make different scenarios out as well too. And then when you come down here to financial wellness, insights, life income projection, it gives you like, okay, yeah, you're making 180 now, you're gonna be making 182 at 52, right? You could change this age. I just got it at 50, right? And it goes on to show you what you can do and what it would look like. And when this Social Security kick in, your net savings, your RMDs that you got to take, and all of that stuff, um, your current net worth and how that breaks down in a pie chart, what that looks like, and then retirement success, like what does that look like over time, right? So I like this. It helps you with your taxes, your savings account, your RMDs, retirement withdrawals. You can come up with a withdrawal plan. Why is all of this? I'm showing you this because you could literally take a job and say, okay, if I work this job for 10 years, what would this look like to go along with? Right now, Bolden is my favorite tool right now. There are others. I think Bolden gives you an easy to maneuver, but I also heard Empower is good. I don't have an Empower account, so I didn't sign up and use it. But go check it out, see how you like it. Um, and get familiar with it. So that way, and listen, this is what financial planners do. This is what financial planners do, right? For every job you apply, right? Let me pull this up here. Let me come over here. I posted a job the other day, right here. Right. I hope all is well. This is working with the Navy. The role is on site. It's working at the Stennis Space Center in Mississippi. I'm not going there, so whatever. But the job is paying from 160 to 190. So when I tell you these jobs have a range from 160 to 190, you add the two numbers up, divide by two. That's probably what they're gonna initially offer you. But because you're in a trained assassin, you know you're gonna get the 190. So go with the 190. Right? You take the 190, put the 190 into that tool, and then start playing around with numbers to give you some insights, right? Give you some insights on one, how does the benefits actually work, right? And don't be afraid when you don't understand. You say, if they say to you that we're gonna offer you 190, we're gonna offer you a 401k with a 4% match on what you putting in, blah 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 blah, and we're gonna give you a yearly bonus of blah blah blah. So ask, is that yearly bonus based on my performance? Is that just an automatically yearly bonus? Did y'all give out yearly bonuses over the last 3 years? Was there a time that you stopped? What was stopped for the yearly bonus? The blah 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 blah. Right. So again, these are things that you need to look at as to, like, how do I put this whole package together? What does this whole package look like? Right. What's another job that I posted in here? Because I posted some. This Linux job in College Park. Here's some more stuff right here. There's a job there, and listen, it's 5 days on site, and it's paying College Park, Maryland. It's paying 66,000. No, I wouldn't go for that. But here's some jobs here: St. Pete, Tampa, Sarasota, that are all Linux sysadmin jobs. This is already posted inside of Slack. You can go in there and check them out. They also give you a range 120 to 160. Like I said, as a Linux sysadmin, maybe a junior, senior, there's no way in the world you can't make there's no way you cannot make over 100,000. I just don't see it. Right? I just don't see it. And if they're not paying the 100,000 on the job, you need to figure out what you actually doing and then go compare that job with the other job. Right? High performance computing, Kissimmee, Winter Park, Florida, the whole nine. These are just on Google, right? I also posted another job here. This is a 5-year contract at 165,000, right? So 5-year contract at 165,000. So for 5 years, you say 165,000 times 5. You would have made $825,000 in 5 years gross. Now, this I'm not including your pay raises in that, so there is potentially more in that, right? So you will probably be making anywhere from 825 to 900,000 in with a job like this. So let's just say you take home half of that, 412, and then let's say you keep half of that. So potentially you probably could have roughly around 200,000 saved up in a job like that, give or take. Right? So that job is paying from 150 to 165. That's Huntsville. Um I posted this a while back. They were looking for base systems, probably still looking for high performance computing, Linux sysadmins, Java development, security. I would go look at BAE to see if they got some jobs out there. 9 times out of 10, they probably got the same jobs out there that they're looking for. Let me go here to jobs again. What got posted lately? MB just posted one at 206. It didn't come up. You might want to look at that link. So here we go. Production server system admin, 70% travel, public trust sponsorship. Get you a public trust. Oracle is hiring. Oracle hiring. Huntsville, 200,000. We know what 200,000 times 5 is. It's in Huntsville, working with the FBI. You do the math. Cut it in half. That's really your true take home. It's probably 500,000, give or take. Take that and half that again is probably what you can save up in the next 5 years there, but you probably could do more. Right? So you can make $1 million gross in 5 years. Not a bad look. It's not a bad look. Yep. Huntsville need money. Huntsville need people all over the place. All right. So again, I showed you companies. I showed you techs. I showed you jobs. I showed you how to invest, how to keep the money in your family, buy the land. Stop worrying about what people think about you. So what? Let them think. Right? Y'all have a good day. Hope you had some fun. We'll see you.